All right, Zach Maribach here. We're going to talk about this ZMF Crescent band, long awaited. And yeah, it's probably worth going through the history of the different headband straps that we've used through the years and just coming up with why I decided to make this new iteration of comfort strap along with the leather suspension strap that we use, or suede. And a big part of it's that, a lot of people look at our headphones and they're made of wood, and you just kind of assume that it's going to be really heavy and really annoying to wear. And I really want anyone who gets a ZMF headphone or uses our products on another headphone to get that and put the headphone on and have that good first impression before you even listen to it. Because, if you're like me or anyone who really puts anything on their body, if it doesn't feel good when you're wearing it, you're probably not going to want to use it for too long. So, back when I started doing the T50s back in the day here, I was working with that Fostex T50 RP model, and it just has this really hard plastic band that just kind of dug right into your skull. And, the first thing I did, we did a suspension strap out of leather, which feels really nice. And then we also did this pilot pad, which is kind of this like half-inch thick piece of foam that just goes right on your head. And the pilot pad is great, and we still sell it. Still a great product, I think. And it works on a lot of headphones. Once we moved on to the dynamic headphones after quite some time, I realized that we needed something more than just the pilot pad, because at the end of the day, there's other designs that feel best, and I decided to do this thing where the strap is just a tiny bit shorter than the actual steel band on top. And what that does is when you put the headphone on, it makes it so that it just kind of cradles your head. There's a little bit of suspension, but you're also feeling whatever's covering the steel band up here. And I like that feeling because, a lot of times when I put on something that's just a suspension strap, it doesn't really cradle my head in quite the way I want it to. Let's get in here. So now we saw this co-pilot pad. It kind of takes the pressure points and puts them on the side of the head a little bit. And this works really well for headphones, that you might not want quite as thick of something on top of the headphone, and you want to take away from the pressure point that might be in the center. And so that's why it kind of works a little bit differently than the pilot pad that just has general overall padding. Whereas this one has the padding that kind of cradles the two sides of the head right there. And, we do this protein version that has the pads that are a little more visible right there. But yeah, these pads, the pilot pad, the co-pilot pad, they're a little bit cumbersome to get onto ZMF headphones. You can put them on a number of different ways. You can go over the strap here. So I've seen people do that, where they put the pilot pad over there. I've seen people put it over the steel strap on the outside to where it kind of cushions everything. I've never seen someone do both the steel strap and the suspension strap. That would be interesting. Maybe it would feel good. Maybe that would negate the Crescent band altogether. I don't know. But yeah, adding something in that was kind of between a pilot pad and the original design is why we decided to come up with this Crescent strap design. And it went through a number of iterations, and what we ended up coming to a conclusion, if you can kind of see here, is that the pads on the outside, these little crescents on the outside, are taller than the ones on the inside. So it goes tallest, little less tall, and the least tall in the middle. And what this does is when you put this on your head, it just kind of, it hugs your head a little bit, which is kind of nice. And you can actually kind of see when you put this on the band here, that the band kind of gets pushed out a little bit like that on each side. And I'm going to go ahead, we're going to go put this on on my personal pheasant wood set here and show you the process. Let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, I really do think that, this is the most comfortable way to wear our ZMFs at this point is with this crescent band, and you can definitely upgrade your own personal set pretty easily with the process that I'm about to go through right now. If you want to buy these off our site once we have them up, which will be either probably now by the time you're watching this video. All right, so first thing you're going to want to do here is grab your either suede or your leather crescent strap. I'm going to go with the leather one, and you're going to want to just use the original bolts that are on your headphone right here. So make sure not to lose these when you take them off. We will send you a hex key. I'm going to use my my DeWalt and you know, my 3mm hex key right here, but you can do it by hand. It just take a little longer. And then the other part you're going to get is this steel band right here. And the reason you're going to get a new one of these is it is a little bit of a different shape. You know, all the ones you're getting from ZMF are you know, already shaped by us, but this is just going to actually a little longer and will allow everything to cradle your head a little more. It actually takes away a little bit of the suspension on the strap, which is actually optimal, because you don't want, you know, just a suspension strap to be working. You want them to be working together to cradle your head in that most comfortable way. So first thing we're going to do, we want to take this, and we can come over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, there's a little piece of, if you open this up here and you kind of look in, there's a little piece of plastic in here on two sides, and it's kind of, you can kind of see that it's kind of sandwiched, these two pieces of foam around a piece of plastic. And you want to make sure that this steel piece goes in between the two pieces of plastic, can slide in and out. Because if you don't get it between there, you're just going to be shoving it right into the foam and breaking everything. So, you know, the old adage, if it doesn't feel like it's easy, just don't do it. So we go in, we go all the way through, and you're going to see it come out the other side, and that should be pretty easy. If you ever get snagged, if it's ever in here and you feel it gets snagged on the inside, you know, definitely don't kind of push it through, because sometimes it can get snagged on the inner workings of the stitching or something. So, you know, just don't go crazy. Second thing we want to do, so this is ready to go now. This is good. And you'll get it with that, you know, that ZMF stamp on the side there too. Next thing, make sure your rods, and always remember to pinch your rods and adjust them like this. It's going to be easier if you're like halfway up on the band like that, so about 50% of the way up. And then you're going to want to go in, and I always kind of put the cups to the side like this. So one cup facing you, one to the side. That's the easiest way to use a tool and not damage your ZMFs as you're taking these bolts out. And just a little bit of light pressure. And you don't want to take this suspension strap all the way out. So I'm actually just loosening these just a tiny bit, just so I can get the steel band out, which is pressure fitted in there. And I'm just going to do that on both sides. And so I'm going to lay one down as I get that one out, and then the easiest thing to do here, come into the side, and same thing, just loosen it just enough. Getting these bolts back in is a little tough, so if you don't have to, I would recommend just loosening them just enough to get the steel band out. So there we go with that. And I'm just going to readjust this so my left cup's on my left, right cup's on my right. That'll definitely make it easiest to put these back together. Aren't these pheasant wood sets just nice? That's pretty. Maybe we'll do pheasant wood again at some point. It is just, it's a nice wood. All right. So yeah, now we have this old piece. I don't know what, you can do whatever you want with it. You know, it can be an ornament, put on the wall, a emblem of the past. And now we have this crescent strap we're gonna go ahead and put on here. So I do the left side first. You know, when you get your ZMFs from the factory, you actually, this ZMF logo that's stamped on here, that's always gonna be on the left side. So make sure to go ahead and put this on the left side here. And then kind of get your other side of your ZMF and put it on the table. And you just got to kind of hold everything in place as you do this. Whoops. And just be careful. And then, yeah, there we go. And then we're going to have both sides in that slot. without those screws screwed back. So let's go ahead and do that one more time just so you can see it. Do it from the other angle. And so I've got the two sides on the table, making sure that this is straight up. Left side with the strap on here. And then I go left side first, and you'll kind of feel a click as it goes all the way in. And then I'll do my right side and kind of hold it here, just holding everything in place. And we have both sides in, and you know, this is not firmly attached yet because we haven't screwed anything in, but you know, that's the way to go about that. So now I've got both sides in, and now I'm going to do one side at a time. I'm just going to hold this in place, and again, position the same way I did before, like this, so that you know everything's cushioned against each other. These ear pads are your friend to help you from knocking anything away. And then I just hold with my left hand and kind of pinching down to hold this in place while I screw, and that's going to help me keep this crescent band flush, because you really want to make sure you're screwing this in flush. And I just go slow right until, and you know, if you're doing this by hand, go just right until you get just a little catch so you know that it's screwed. If you go too firmly, it's going to pull it side to side, and you may not get this steel strap aligned congruently into the upright. And then after you do that, you just kind of tighten ever so gently a couple times. And I'm just using this like a screwdriver without any power right now. And all that's going to do is allow you to keep that even pressure in. And then you can go back and check and say, hey, you know, kind of pull up this crescent band here and see, hey, I don't know if you can see that. You say, hey, is that steel right there, is that flush at a 90-degree angle into the upright? You know, if it weren't, it would look like it was, you know, cocked one way to the left, to the right. You know, you want to see the steel band going straight, you know, straight up, so that there's no issues with when you put this on it being crooked at all. So then we'll go ahead and do the other side, and you can kind of rock it back and forth to feel when that steel band is flat in that upright. So I get it in there. I'm going to hold it flat. Go very slow right until I have just a little pressure, and then same thing, go back and forth, just a little bit of pressure on each side, going in until you have a nice tight fit with these set screws. Go back and check, make sure that my strap is flush in there, and it is, and voila, we've got a finished crescent band installation. And that's very exciting. You know, and the one thing about this too is these crescent band, a headphone's going to go bigger now actually than it was before. So you have a larger head, you're definitely going to want the crescent band. And if there any chance the crescent band doesn't fit you because it's too big on the smallest setting, I would recommend getting the suede strap that goes in, you know, that goes in here. The suede strap will make the headphone a little bit smaller. And yeah, the other option, you know, too, is you could always put another pilot pad on here if you want to make it even smaller, but I really wouldn't recommend that unless you're having a lot of issues with this. And you can kind of see now how the crescent band, the pads are kind of pushing in on this, this leather. And the last step before I'm going to put this on is just see how I've got the crescent band on, and one side of the headphone is just sitting, I think you can see they're sitting a little bit lower than the other. The only bend you're ever going to want to do with the crescent band is just bending the side that's lower up a little bit. And to do that, I'm just going to put my finger right between these last two pads on the headphone version right here. So I put the finger right between the last two on the headphone right here. So I'm just going to hold this part with my finger, and I'm just going to bend this up just a little bit until it's really congruent and both sides sit flush with each other. So you can see they both sit right at the same angle. And one way to do that too is you can twist the pads. Let's see if I can do this so you can see it here. Twist the pads so that they both match on the same side. All right, so yeah, I've got them both matching right where the bolt goes into the headphone on the gimbal. And there we go. A nice match, both sides match. Crescent band, cups come together. And yeah, headphone feels nice and comfortable. This shape that we got with the steel, it'll just kind of hug your head right at the right amount, just to feel like you're being held as you listen to the beautiful, beautiful sonics through your ZMF headphones. And yeah, thanks for watching this ZMF video. I hope you enjoy the Crescent band. I think it's a pretty sweet little thing we came up with, and it's going to make your ZMF headphones, whether they're the lighter wood ones or the heavier wood ones, more comfortable for years to come. So yeah, have a good one, and we'll check you next time.